What's up, and welcome to the Nerd Bar, episode 78. I was like, what? Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. It is,
Nighttime at the Nerd
woo!
Bar.
It is
It took
post Anime
78
Expo.
episodes for that to happen. That's pretty good.
Well, it is a Nerd Bar, and it's nighttime. So, I just kind of stumbled over that. But we're excited to be here. We survived Anime Expo, clearly. And we have special guests this evening. We're going to talk all about Anime Expo. We got Overwatch news and more. So, stick around for all of that. Quick introductions. Hello, I am Carrie Lane.
And I'm Katie Collin.
So let's get right into it for our first guest. Welcome, God's Will. Woo!
Hey.
Hey, how are y'all?
Good. How are you?
I mean,
joining us.
Yeah, no, thanks for having me. I feel like we're all recovering still from Anime Expo, right?
Oh my God,
Right?
yes.
It's a lot. It's a lot of fun, but it's a lot.
Yeah, for real.
Saturday through Tuesday was some wild energy.
Whoa, yes.
So weird.
Yes. I also forgot to mention, because we're just all like, ugh, we do have a live chat going on. So if you're watching this live, join us in the live chat. If you're watching later, no worries, comment down below. We got John Knight says, hello, ladies, welcome back. And says, hi, God's Will. I like with a Z.
Yes.
That's fun.
Yes.
But yeah, God's Will, tell us what brought you to Anime Expo. Like, what were you doing there this year, and how many years have you been attending Anime Expo?
Ooh, yeah. So this year was my first time doing panels for Viz Media, so that was really exciting. Yeah.
Ooh.
So yeah, they're starting to transition me to help run the panels with Urian Brown, longtime host runner, and right now we're doing together and bringing a good energy to it. And
Nice.
we did 3 panels. We did a panel for Zom 100, our industry panel, and then Bleach panel, and it was a great time. Yep. And then I was lucky enough to be able to talk with the artist for Zom 100. Anime just came out this weekend, and it's a banger. And then the voice of Ichigo, Morita-san, he's awesome. Yeah.
Wow.
That's cool. I saw
That's
some pictures of
incredible.
that panel that looked pretty wild.
Yeah, it was a good time. That was it. I mean, I'm still flabbergasted by it all. I'm like, I can't believe that just happened, but I'm really happy and grateful that I could do that. And then your other question, I've been going for 7 years. I started going with Funimation back in the day. So yeah, this is my 7th year going, and I have a good time. I really enjoy going to Anime Expo.
All right. I was going to ask then if you want to elaborate too, what do you do over at Viz? And do you do other anime work as well?
Yeah. So I got a lot going on. So first, I do community management at Viz Media. So like I help run the social media pages, trying to make sure everyone plays nice, trying to keep the good vibes going. Sometimes, accidentally burning some people, but at the same time, it's mostly
do
fun.
what you gotta do. Yeah.
Sometimes, I try to be nice, but if people are mean to other people, then sheriff comes to town, right? So I do that, and then other things on the side. Yeah, like on the side, I have my own podcast. It's called That's Dope. We talk about anime stuff all the time. Usually defaults to One Piece. It's about to default to One Piece.
You see the Luffy on the blanket behind your chair. Yeah.
I mean, he usually tells me what to say. Talk about One Piece? Okay. Yeah, it's a fun time. We just usually talk about like whatever comes to mind. Usually get a lot of different guests. Need to bring you guys on, honestly, sometime soon. Yeah. So yeah, it's lots of fun. So we just made it to like episode 100 pretty recently. So yeah.
Congrats.
Yeah, I've been doing that for a minute. And then also on the side, I do parties. So I've been doing like nerd themed parties. I did like a Cowboy Bebop jazz party. About to do a One Piece yacht party.
Yo.
Yeah.
Yo.
I got the yacht. So it's going to be September 9th. It's going to be from 5 till 8:30. I'll tell you guys more details soon.
Mark my calendar.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, we're like, hold on.
Yeah. Because I went to your previous party and it was a banger.
Yes,
it was a lot of fun.
That's what I try to do. Try to have banger parties and events. So this one is going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of things planned. We got like a scavenger hunt. I'm planning a fashion show. We're gonna, it's gonna be a lot of different things. So stay tuned for that.
You're going to send us to find the One Piece at the One Piece party.
We're going to figure it out together, hopefully, right?
Yes.
And then Also, I do a convention. It was called Waifu Expo.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's called Kimochi Con.
Mhm.
That's in Dallas, Texas. We just did it in March. It was an 18 plus like OnlyFans sort of focused convention. But anime also. So it was lots of fun. We sold out on day one this last year. It
Sweet.
feels like last
Wow.
year.
Get it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, right now we're planning for year two, and it's gonna be in Dallas also. It'd be dope if you guys come through also. But stay tuned for that. We're thinking April, yeah, March, April,
right.
maybe even May. But stay tuned for that. Finding a venue to accommodate like the growing needs that we have. So yeah.
So you do everything,
I
basically.
know. I was like,
you just
there's
do a ton
all
of
the
event
things.
stuff.
And one more thing now, no, actually, at least so far, that's what I'm doing. We'll see what else comes out, right?
Yeah.
We do have a question for you from the chat. John Knight says, Godswill, who got you into anime? But I would also ask, what got you into anime as well?
Yeah.
What was your starter pack?
I gotta say, Tom from Toonami is like the Who, I guess, right?
All right.
Otherwise, you know, it's like Toonami was on after school. Like, I feel really lucky that we were born in the age of like anime being on TV. You know, and like it was like niche enough, but like still like really cool. Still, like I think like you know like everyone watched it, even though people didn't want to admit they watched it. So yeah, Toonami was like my main thing. And I would just watch a lot of shows. I think like high school is like when I was like, okay, anime is really my thing. And in college, like I made an anime club, and
yes.
I was like, take me anime. So yeah,
like it. Then kind of circling back. Oh, go ahead.
I was just saying, I think you're right about the Toonami thing. Like, I think that was an influence with a lot of people in our generation. If you had cable and you watched Cartoon Network, you probably caught part of that at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I got lucky with that, and I think it was so. It defined like a generation, honestly, for a lot of us. Right? Yeah.
Oh yeah. I was circling back to Anime Expo. How was your experience this year? And were there any particular moments that stood out to you of like something really interesting or a funny experience? Anything of note?
This year felt busier than usual. I don't know what happened, but like I just felt like I don't know. I just felt so much more wiped out than I usually do. I mean, and then unfortunately, I didn't get to explore as much as I wanted to. But I did get to see some cool things. One thing that like I thought was really cool was like I went to like a Latino like experience with anime, and I thought that was really cool. Like that was on Tuesday, and I got to see quite a few friends like host that panel and speak on the panel, and it was really cool to see their experience. You know, like a whole nother group's experience, like on like watching anime, get into anime, and like how they bring that into the culture today. And then, I mean, for me, for sure, is like talking with both the creator for Zom 100 and Bleach, each voice actor for Ichigo, not creator for Bleach, one day. But it was really cool, honestly. Like, I mean, it was just like, wow, I can't believe, you know, we're at this level now, like where people like I definitely watched, you know, like I get to talk with now. So, you know, being at the same level, I never would have thought that would have happened. I was about to be a doctor.
Really?
Yeah, like I got my master's in healthcare administration.
Wow,
yeah.
that's a pivot.
Yeah, anime land, right?
Hey, you know, it's all good.
But that also means you're really good on how to have on hand at a convention in case something happens.
All the knowledge is gone. Like, flushed it out the way to make room for anime in one
for One Piece. Got to fit the 1,000 episodes in there somewhere.
Being a community manager, what is some advice you would give to anime fans out there?
Honestly, be more nice to everybody. You know, like it sort of bums me out that like anime fans can be pretty toxic. Like it doesn't make sense, especially like when like the subject matter is usually about like beating bullies and being better, a better version of yourself, all that. And it doesn't make sense to me that like people could be mean about it. But the reason I say that is because one, as a community manager, like I'm reading what you're saying, you know, it's like I'm seeing, you know, like, oh, this person says this all the time. You know, this isn't useful or nice to anybody. So I might just hit you with the ban. You know, I don't want to, but it might happen. But I remember nice people more so, you know, people who are usually like cheering things on or like, I'm excited to check this out. You know, like I think that's like a good way to get into the industry if you're interested. Like nice people get remembered very easily. they get to go to events, they get to get called out more, especially if you do something with it. You know, like not just watch it, but you're able to make content from it, or you're able to create a better dialogue for the culture with it. And then also is like the other thing about being nice is like you never know what anybody else like enjoys, or like what they're going through that they might have to enjoy a different way. Like, I think
Mhm.
like we can like it bumps me when people do like the sub versus dub debate. I'm like the existence of the other doesn't take away from the enjoyment of the other. Like it
Yeah.
actually just helps it. It brings more fans into this. Like
Yep. More the
and
merrier.
yeah, exactly. That's what we wanted. Like, and it's like gatekeeping is dumb. Let's just be nice with this, right?
Yeah.
And
No
like if
worries.
you're dyslexic or if you have an audio processing
Yeah.
disorder, you're going to
Exactly.
have needs for
Yes,
one
that's a
over the
different thing.
other.
Might be
And
vision
that's
impaired, right? Like
Yeah,
you might like for whatever reason, maybe your parents, don't want to read subtitles, right?
Yeah.
It's like
Yeah.
It's like the existence of one doesn't take away from the existence or the enjoyment of the other.
Exactly.
you can do both.
What a concept.
Watch them both ways.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So yeah.
Demon Slayer is just as good in each language. I should
honestly,
know we've done both.
Yeah, hey, there we go. Like honestly, like I do enjoy like watching a show like in a different language. I think One Piece is dope, both in Japanese and English.
Is there anything else you wanted to add, share, or promote? I mean, we covered your podcast and other awesome stuff you do. Before we say farewell for today,
Yeah,
we
for sure.
should have you come back on again.
Definitely, it was a fun time. Appreciate you guys. Yeah, sorry, like
no,
everything is happening, but
it's all good.
yeah,
I'll ask you all your opinions on One Piece later. I feel like we'll need a whole show for that.
I mean, it's just the beginning.
Yep. Yep.
If I could push one more thing, yeah, like my group page is called That's Dope Entertainment. You can find us on all different channels, iTunes to YouTube, or we have a video show on YouTube. And that's where you can find out more about the parties and events. Trying to do more parties, like not just in LA and Dallas, but also more regions. We'll see. Like we have a lot of things like in the pipelines, and just trying to get through one thing at a time, but trying to have a fun time throughout.
Dig it. And then people can follow you online where?
Yes. Also, you can find me on Godswill Ugwa Jr. I am pretty much everywhere. Instagram, well, not TikTok. Instagram, Twitter, Threads, Facebook, all that, So
Sweet.
Yeah, I have fun.
And that's dope, as well as that have its own user.
Yeah, that's his own. So that's Dope Entertainment. Yeah.
All right.
Nice. Well, thank you again for joining us.
Thank you much.
Me. It was a great time talking to you guys. And yeah, I'll talk to you guys soon. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Have a good night.
Peace, y'all.
See ya. And then
we
have
good,
another
people.
guest. Yes, definitely. We always love seeing Godswill at events and at cons. And so thank you very much for joining us. And we have another guest ready, which was fun because I met this person online and then finally got to meet IRL in real life. So yes, hello, welcome, Destiny.
Hi. Can you hear me okay? I'm like
yes,
my podcast.
absolutely.
Okay, great.
I was like, yes, you are loud and clear. We hear you. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, welcome. And we are going to be, welcome to Nighttime at the Nerd Bar. And speaking of a podcast, Mike, tell us one, we'll start off, how was your Anime Expo experience? And what other kind of fun projects you got going on? Because you have a podcast as well.
I do. So my Anime Expo experience was kind of bananas. This was like my third Anime Expo, and every time I go, it stresses me out more because it's like it gets crazier and crazier every year.
That's true.
That's
this year was wild with day one being Saturday.
Yeah, that was the thing that was throwing me off. Like the first day being a Saturday, because Saturdays are usually like peak con days.
Yeah.
So seeing that the first day was Saturday, I was like, oh, this is going to be really a lot.
Oh yeah.
But I really liked it. I had a lot of fun. I miss conventions. Like I say that every time, like every year when there's con season, I'm like, I'm ready. I'm ready to go back. I'm ready to see everybody. So I had a great time. I did catch a little bit of a cold. Thank God it was not COVID. I was so happy it wasn't COVID. But I was like, good. That con crud, I tell you, like when you start feeling.
Oh, I think.
Oh, we lost you for a minute.
Lost your audio.
We lost the audio.
Your audio
Oh
disappeared.
no, we lost the audio. I assume you can still hear us.
Yes. We still see you.
Yes.
And your mic just decided, no, you were having too much fun.
Dang.
You can. Oh, wait.
Oh, wait.
You're doing something now.
Hi.
Yay, there we go.
Better. We got you back.
Yay.
It's not gonna move because I think it's the cord, but
That'll do it.
Well, we're glad it's not anything more serious than just a cold,
Yeah.
and you get some time to recuperate.
Yes.
thank you.
Then, anything else that stood out to you about your experience, or any other highlights of any special moments you enjoyed?
So for the con, I was actually working. I work at Crunchyroll for folks who don't know. So that was pretty cool. Like I would probably say a lot of the activations really stood out to me.
Mhm.
It was just kind of crazy seeing how big all these companies went this year. Like usually it's like people get pretty good with the activations, but like the Naruto Ninja Storm like game setup where they had the entire like bar where you can like go inside and play the video games was insane. The statue of the Ninetales was like
Oh, that looks so
crazy.
good. Yeah.
That was
Yeah, the
like
Kurama
probably my
statue was
favorite.
nuts.
It was my favorite thing I'd probably have to say about the entire con. Like it was just right there in your face, and it looked like at any moment he was gonna like turn his head and like look at you. I
Mhm.
was like, I'm with it. I love it. That was like probably my peak for me.
Sweet.
It had the like really good taxidermy vibes where you're like, no, it's still alive. Like that is
Yes.
alive.
Yes, I expected him to like blink as I walked by or something, and I
Yeah.
was like,
Oh,
okay.
yeah.
Nice. What got you into anime? And your online presence is very anime focused. So what got you into it, and what keeps you going?
Oh, so I had gotten out of college and I was like, what do I want to do with my life? Like, you know, that question you kind of ask yourself, like, it could be college, high school. You're just like, what am I going to do? And my mom had always told me, like, do something that you're going to be happy doing because at the end of the day, that's where you're going to be at most of the time is going to be at your job. So the only thing that I think that really stuck with me was anime. Like, it struck a chord in my heart. I was like, I love this stuff, but I can't draw to save my life.
Same.
And voice acting, I didn't really feel like that was a thing for me. So then I was just like, I'm gonna start an anime podcast. One, because I want to like connect with other people around me. But then once I started realizing it could actually be like a career and something that could open doors for me, I was like, oh, this is even better. Like I'm connecting with people. And then on top of that, I'm like also being able to talk about anime. So that was a huge thing for me. That just made me fall in love with it. Well, in love with podcasting for sure. What got me into anime? Oh, I was a weeb. Okay, like I
Was.
I was gonna say
right?
Was.
Yeah.
I really liked. So I was like a Nancy Drew nerd. Like I
Okay.
really loved mysteries and stuff like that. So
Mhm.
then from that, I got into Detective Conan, which I was like,
Oh.
this is a show that lets you like literally solve murders, and I'm had best time of my life. And then shortly after that, I got into Peach Girl, which is like tattooed on my arm. I love that show. It's not a good show. I'm not here to make people watch it. It's not good. But it really,
It's a classic.
it struck a chord in my heart. And being a teenage girl, I was like, this is it for me. This is peak television for me. So that's what kind of made me get into anime as a whole, and I just never turned back.
Yeah, it's one of those. Is it perfect? No. Is it going to live in my heart forever? Oh,
Oh,
yes.
yes.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
It's like Vampire Night, you know, like you love it, but
That's when I don't know how far I got, but I got a little bit into it, then just kind of trickled off, to be honest. But like the beginning, I like the
fair.
general idea. And that's okay. Like we should all be able to sample some shows, but give a show some time. Don't be ditching it after one episode. Like at least 3 to 5. Let it get its legs.
Yeah,
2
let
to
it
3 if
settle.
Mhm.
Oh, go ahead.
2 to 3 if it's longer episodes.
Yeah.
5 episode test if it's the 22 minutes with commercials
Yeah.
bit.
Yeah, that's a beautiful way to watch anime because there's so many episodes sometimes, and it's just like, how much do I want to invest into this? So like,
Yeah.
You got to give it like, as long as it's not like super, super long, you should just like 3-episode rule, 5 episodes. See if it like really strikes something in you.
Are you up to date with Jujutsu Kaisen? That just dropped season 2.
I know. I have not watched Jujutsu Kaisen season 2 yet. I want to.
Someone in the chat asked, what do you think of the JJK season 2 opening? I started. I'm excited. I am like, ooh, this show. I'm like, where's this gonna go? Because we're going back in time, but that's okay. If you guys aren't watching it, there's so many shows.
I saw the opening because the opening looked spectacular.
It's so pretty.
It's so pretty, and
their animation.
Yes, it's so good. It's just so good. But I didn't get to watch it yet. I saw the opening though.
Okay, nice.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
I don't watch it, so I'm just gonna vibe.
No.
Hashtag first world problems. Too many shows to keep up to date. No, it's okay.
It's like I should watch something. I'd rather just lie on the couch and not move. Like put on an episode of Game Grumps so I don't have to pay attention, but I can, and it's good when I do.
Yeah. No, I feel like I see new anime like every season, and I'm like, I'm still on like 2014 like spring season. Like I'm trying to catch up, but there's so many shows.
Yeah.
It can get a little overwhelming.
Is there anything in particular you're looking forward to this season?
Oh, Link Click season 2.
Hey.
Link Click is so good. I went to the panel at Anime Expo. I probably would say that really stuck out to me. And we watched the first 2 episodes with the director of the show.
Oh, nice.
And then the English voice actors were actually just sitting in the audience. And then Tim Liu ended up calling them up to meet the director like during the panel. So that was like super heartwarming. And then after just seeing like the first 2 episodes of the new season, I was like, I'm pumped. Like, give me all of it. I want all of it wrapped up in a bow for me.
Nice. Carrie, we've lost you. You're muted.
I was muting while I was typing.
Now I have to mute myself and we'll have the trifecta.
So looking like having an online presence like you do and keeping up with that, what are some things that you would tell to anime fans out there if they're interested in getting into that sphere? Because I mean, internet is at our fingertips. It's very easy to do in principle, like, but there's a lot more to it. So what advice would you give to anime fans out there?
Well, I would say find community. A lot of when I first got started, I didn't know anybody. I was like really nervous and I was scared to put myself out there. But the more people that I found that liked the same things that I did, that were just like really nice and genuine, like it made it a lot easier to like broadcast my stuff. And they were super receptive of it too. Like they would be like, let me share your stuff, or that's so cool, or, you know, and just forming a community around, you know, the fact that you are new too. Like a lot of people are nice and a lot of people are willing to talk to you, give you advice. Like never feel afraid to ask somebody a question. Like when I first got started, I was just like, what mic do I use? What interface do I use? Like just a bunch of questions. Like how do you not get copy striked, you know, like especially when you're trying to get started. That's something that most people don't talk about, especially like the big VTubers or anime YouTubers. Like it can be a lot of information that you just don't know, and you have to kind of either learn or be told. So I think finding your community and just really putting yourself out there is super, super important. And just try. I know it's so scary, especially because you're just like, oh, I don't have all the right equipment, or I just, you'll always find something that you'll critique about yourself, but unless you like try, you'll never know where it could really lead. And I think a lot of people could be really successful if they just tried.
Yeah.
You know?
It's like you don't know how to...
enemy of good.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's you won't know what to improve upon until you start, because then you go, oh wait, this doesn't work, or this does work for me, or your own. Everybody's setup is different too, and it's like someone might be in their basement, or someone in their kitchen, your living room, and those would all have different requirements of how to make that work.
Exactly. And then it's like I listened to my very first podcast episode Don't
Ooh.
embarrassing, okay? Like you could barely
Yep.
hear me. It definitely sounds like I'm in my closet.
You're
Like
"Mhm."
yes, and I'm just like, oh, like so embarrassing. But it's funny to kind of look back on it because now
Mhm.
I'm like 100 something episodes in, and I'm like, oh wow, like you can find the noticeable difference, you know?
Yeah. It's like a document of your improvement. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then you know you got
yeah.
better and not worse. So
Exactly,
that's a good one. You're like, yes,
exactly.
got better.
From audio quality alone.
Yes,
Right. Yeah.
yes, exactly,
That's very
exactly.
cool.
Mhm.
Was there anything else you want to share on your Anime Expo experience or anything you're working on you'd want people to know about?
As far as my Anime Expo experience, I if you ever get the opportunity to go to Anime Expo at least once, I highly recommend you do it. It is it's like going to an amusement park. It's just insane. um, but if you're an anime fan, it can be really overwhelming at first. I remember my first AX, I was like, oh my God, there's so much to do. But
Yeah.
if you get one opportunity, I highly recommend you like take a weekend with your friends, all cosplay, don't cosplay, whatever you feel comfortable doing, and just have like the best time. Because every time I go, I'm so exhausted afterwards, but I just feel good afterwards because it's like being around that, you know, that feeling when you're like in school and you're around kids that like the same stuff as you.
Yeah.
That is like literally
Mhm.
Anime Expo in like a little bow. It's just like everybody there, like no one's judging you, like full nerd, like full
Oh, yeah.
nerd moment.
Wear whatever you
Um,
want. No one's going to care.
Can start a conversation
whatever.
with anyone in any line.
Yep.
And everyone is so receptive. Like they're just like, "Oh my god, hi!" Like it's really good energy. So I always recommend that someone goes. And then as far as like any new projects, I was on a year-long hiatus because I moved to California. So
Welcome to
um
California.
Hey.
thank you. I moved from Florida. I drove. So
Ooh,
Dang.
that's commitment.
That's
I took like a year off to kind of like put myself together, and then I got
Yeah.
married. Lots of life stuff was happening. So I just got back into podcasting. So yeah, getting animated podcasts. I'm back now.
nice.
Yay. I'm
Yeah.
looking over in the chat. I would go with dub and sub. John Knight says, "What's your favorite dubbed animes?" Destiny.
My favorite dub. Okay, so it goes back to Conan, Case Closed. The 1990s Funimation dub is so good. It is so they remastered the dub like more in like 2000 and like maybe 2019, but
Mhm.
it doesn't hit like the 90s version. It's just so good.
Yeah.
So Jerry Jewell is the voice of Kyo from Fruits Basket, and he also plays Conan in Detective Conan, and I love him so much. So
Jerry Jewell has such a distinctive
thick
voice.
voice. Yes.
Yeah.
So every time I just like knowing that Conan was voiced by Keo from like Fruits Basket, I'm just like, this is the best thing in the world. So yeah, that's probably my favorite dub. Case closed for sure.
Nice.
Nice.
Yes.
There's something to be said for the classic dubs, you know?
Yes.
They were just so silly back then. Like I feel like they
Yeah.
just did whatever they wanted.
I mean, the really old ones, you had one take and it was done on tape, and that was it. So if we get some buck wild stuff in older dubs, well, still learning, still figuring things out.
Exactly. It gave it a little bit of oomph to the
Yeah.
story.
Yeah.
And then I was just looking over in the chat. Got Giga Derek. Hello, Giga Derek from was joining us earlier too. Code Geass dub for the win. Nice. Another classic series. I've only watched a little bit of it, but I did enjoy what I saw.
Me too.
I'm like, that's another one that I'm like, there's a lot of material there, and
That's
good.
Yeah.
part of me wants to call it a more modern classic, and the other part of me is like, wasn't it out in like 2008?
I'm like, it's been out
Oh.
for a while. Yes.
Yeah.
What's our
Yeah.
definition of modern?
Oh, I say that all the time. Or like when I see people on TikTok say like anime, like certain anime is old, and I'm like you mean like the 70s or 9? Like '80s, right? And they're just like,
And then they
no.
drop like Cowboy Bebop.
Yeah,
Like,
and I'm like,
ah!
oh, what are we talking
All
about
right,
here?
my bones have turned to
Let's
dust.
see.
Thank you.
Yeah,
That's a good question. I mean, the 70s and 80s have such a particular style, and even like the 70s by themselves, the 80s, and then the 90s too. I'd say like modern would be the 2000s because that's when we got into a lot cleaner art and like
Yeah.
shinier. Like it has a
Yeah.
glossiness to it, and
yeah,
the 90s still has that grittiness, which is still good too.
Yeah.
And then like classic could be whatever your frame of reference is, you know.
yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
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 Let us know your favorites and classics. Leave comments down below because that I feel it depends how old you are. That like what
Yeah.
got you started.
Yeah.
I just saw that on Twitter. Somebody did for like Gen Zers or people under 18 or something like that. What's the oldest movie you've watched? And oftentimes that could be like, well, what did your parents or grandparents show you?
Yeah.
And you know, or do you have an affinity for some stuff that's older too?
Yeah.
Ooh,
Saw
here's
a,
another
bit
90s
on
classic, I
Tumblr.
feel. Big
Oh,
O.
Big O.
Yes.
Yep.
That was a good
Yeah.
one as well.
Good old robot
Yeah.
Batman.
Yeah.
There's
Yeah.
Tumblr has polls now, and there for a minute there was a Tumblr poll about what was your starter anime, and it was like Demon Slayer and like a lot of stuff that came out within the past
And you're like,
10 years. I don't think there was anything on there before like 2008. And I'm
Oh.
sitting here going, tell me that you're a Zoomer making this poll without telling me you're a Zoomer. Because I was like, we have an entire generation that started on Pokemon, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball Z, anything they could watch on Toonami, Cartoon Network, Kids WB, Foxbox. Like that was kind of our generation. That hit around like
Yeah.
5th grade for me and didn't leave. And so just seeing this, what was your starter anime? Full Metal Alchemist. You know what? That's fair, but that's where you started?
Yeah, I feel like with us too, because like when I was watching anime, like the only way I would know what's going on this season, I would have to go to Blockbuster and get like a new type magazine with the DVD in it, and it only had like the first episode of like 3 different shows, and that was all you got. So like now I feel like everyone just has accessibility to like Demon Slayer, so now it's just like it makes sense that that's their one. But I'm like, I used to have to like beg my mom, like, please buy me this magazine so I can watch anime. Like,
and you know, you save up your allowance and you pony up $30 at Media Play for a single DVD and hope that it's good.
Yes.
And it's just like, all right, that was 2 months allowance. Cool, great, awesome.
Yeah.
And now we have
another classic location.
I think Suncoast and Media Play were owned by the same people. It was the same company.
Maybe where you are regionally, yeah.
I grew up we had a Media Play near where I was, and then if you went on the other side of town, which Colorado Springs, by the way, other side of town's not heckin' far, the mall had a Suncoast. So like it really depended on where you were. But yeah, no, the $30 for a DVD of 3 episodes or a VHS with 4, our generation. Getting the subbed in 2 different languages or fan subs or hard coded from the kid down the street who imported it. Previous generations. Like
it's like the way we had to obtain anime was really like putting yourself in the ringer, or you had to stay up at a certain time, make sure you caught that episode,
or got up early enough. It was either really late
or set the VCR to record all 8 hours that you were asleep. So you got Adult Swim, and then you also got whatever the heck Cartoon Network put on at 6:30 a.m. Yeah,
exactly.
That was what I did. Recorded, I learned to set a VCR so I could watch anime.
Yeah.
I feel we could go on this forever, which is amazing. But Destiny, thank you for joining us. And where can people find you online?
So you can find me on Getting Animated on Instagram, Twitter, and Threads. At Getting Animated. And then you can also follow me at Destiny Senpai, and then listen to the Getting Animated podcast on Spotify, Apple Music Podcasts, anywhere that you get most podcasts. That's where you can find me.
Yay, that's awesome. Congratulations on all those things. I was like, ooh, check that box. Yes.
You're doing so many things.
I'm trying.
You're succeeding.
Yes.
Thank
There we
you
go.
so
We're
much.
about to be jinxed there. Real quick too, we got Gig Derek says, I still have tapes like that with Inuyasha and Fooly Cooly.
Love Fooly
FLCL,
Cooly.
yes. Classic. There you go. Classics.
Yeah,
Yes.
the classics.
The classic.
I
Look at-
recorded Yu-Gi-Oh, so I feel you.
All right. Well, thank you again, Destiny, for joining us. Everybody, go follow Destiny on social media platforms and wherever you get your
Thank you.
podcasts. Yeah, we'll have you again
Bye.
on sometime soon.
Yeah, thank you so
Yeah.
much. It was lovely being here. Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming on.
Bye.
See ya. All right. And then we have, similar to Anime Expo, we have unboxing because we got some
do.
cool stuff. Mine are in a box, so I'm just going to show it while you get your box stuff ready.
Oh, I'm ready.
Oh, you are? All right.
So
Go for it.
G Fuel was present at Anime Expo, and they had honestly a really nice little setup. They were doing a mini fridge giveaway. They had shakers, they had cans of product, like they had all sorts of good stuff there. And I obtained, and this, I love this so much.
It's so
They
pretty.
had, speaking of classic anime, is a classic OG Gundam shaker cup. So,
Yes.
of course, I have the exact light reflection on it, so it's hard to see when you
Yeah, you're
rotate
like,
it. But
"Yeah,
like,
here."
this is absolutely beautiful. These are, and it's the size of my head. It's huge. It is huge. And what? Open up. Thank you. What I really like
Ooh, is
about
that metal?
these is you got, yeah, it's
Ooh,
metal. It's got some
nice.
nice insulation. And then instead of having to worry about having like a separate little ball, which you know are impossible to wash, it has this, you can kind of, you can kind of see
Yeah.
because it's black, so it's a little harder to see. But there is the ring here, and there are plastic bits all throughout. So it's kind of like the spokes of a wheel.
Mhm.
So this is the bit that does the mixing. Instead of having to have a third piece in here somewhere, you put in your powder, put in your water, make sure the lid's screwed on tight, and shake it. And it's the lid that does all the work. And that is brilliant. I
Yes.
love that so much. Having dealt with shaker bottles that are just the biggest pain to figure
Yeah.
out, to clean, to have that little
Mhm.
third thing where it's like, well, I can't find it, so my thing will be suboptimally shaken. Nope, all in one package. Perfect. This is solid. It's insulated. I am beyond excited to use this. And also for the hand washing, you put the soap and the water in there and then you shake it and it cleans the top. It's perfect. And we have a loop for carabiners because I am a carabiner person. I like hooking things to things. So the fact that I can just hook this on my bag and go, perfect.
And they also have plastic ones too. We were talking about
Yeah.
metal. So then this is Dragon Ball Z one they have, which is really cool. They have their nice logo there on the side. And so this one is the other design that they have where the shaker part is a detachable detachable segment, and
Yes.
you just put that in there like that, and then you got your lid and shake. So this is the other variety that they have, and
that's like a classic DBZ design. That is OG.
yes, they have energy drinks, y'all.
Yes.
I don't know if you follow me on social media, you should know I consume quite a few and talk about them a lot. Got our condensation there. I was trying to show off. There we go. Sage mode.
Yes.
Yes. So we got 0 sugar, which is fun for those who don't want that. And this is 300 milligrams of caffeine, y'all. That is a nice big number because most of your average energy drinks, as a consumer of many energy drinks, only range from about like maybe 1 to 200 is like your average, maybe 150. Like you gotta look to make sure you get the higher. So like 300, I'm like, yes.
So G Fuel is a
Yes.
hit then.
Yes.
All
It
right.
doesn't. It's not a like it's all no. And I was glad I had this because I'm like, oh, I'll be saving this for my drive down to Comic-Con next week. So
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
glad I'm set.
That's sort of, no, you will go
Ugh.
Sage mode. No, you will go Super Saiyan. Like you will
Mhm,
have that hit.
mhm.
And this, to be clear, this is, I think it's plastic lid and then metal lined.
Right.
So
okay.
it's got that really nice insulation. Just to be clear about things. Do not want
you-
to falsely advertise, but like,
Do you have the powder
look
on
at
hand?
this
I have it in my
design.
bag.
I do not have the powder
Okay, I'll
on
save it.
hand. It is way too late at night for me to have caffeine.
Oh no, I was
I
like,
oh,
let me.
to show, yeah, these are the little
Yes,
samples, but I
there we go.
actually have some of the hydration powder
Yes,
on the
there we go.
way.
That's what
So
I
we
meant.
will
Yes,
have,
there we go. So
yes,
they have these, which is their hydration energy formula. So
yeah,
this one is sour blue chug rug, also sugar free.
yes.
So I was like, these are awesome. So if you pour this in your shaker,
You
yes,
do that, you put the water in, you shake it like a Polaroid picture, and you have G Fuel. Like,
yay.
yeah, I've got some of the non-caffeine hydration formula because I can only do so much caffeine in a day, so I
Say the
can't
300
handle.
would be too much for you.
Oh my god,
You're
I
like,
would transcend reality. Like, I can only handle so much caffeine, so a whole can of G Fuel is maybe a little much for me.
yes.
But they've got the non-caffeinated version, so that's on the way, and I am so excited to put it in my classic Gundam cup and go nuts.
So
Like,
thank you very much to G Fuel. Thank
yes,
y'all.
thank you, G Fuel, for keeping me hydrated during the upcoming San Diego Comic-Con.
Also, very
Hydration
nice
is
folks.
very important.
Yes. I was saying also very nice folks to interact with. It's,
Oh,
when you
yeah.
go to a booth, sometimes people can be fine, but very pleasant. And it was nice to learn about it too, because I hadn't heard about it before. I think you had. Yeah. But I was like,
Yes.
tell me more.
I watch enough YouTubers with G Fuel sponsorships that I have
Uh-huh.
indeed heard the ad spots, and I'm like, yes, I need to partake in this. Yes, this sounds great. And then getting to meet the humans, and again, beautiful, beautiful stuff. Just so excited.
Does yours have the numbers on the side for like volume? I think it's a different design, so it
No,
doesn't.
because yours is see-through. Yours is, you can see the water level through yours.
Yeah.
And you definitely cannot in mine. This is
No.
solid.
So in case you want to measure
Yeah.
that, you got that there too. Nice.
Yeah. So it's different shakers for different needs. Like, this is
Yes.
definitely the heavy duty one, the kind that you would hang off a backpack or put in
Yep.
the backpack. Like, it's big, but that's also about as much water as you should be having every 6 hours at a con. Let's be real. Hydration is so important, especially out here in Southern California where it's heckin' hot.
Yes. And even if it's
So,
not
yes.
hot, you make sure to stay hydrated.
Hydration's important anyway.
So that
Yes.
what we do have Overwatch, but I'd
Let's
say
talk about our own AX experience. 'Cause
yes, I was gonna
we
say,
did the thing too.
we did not get a chance to talk about.
Yeah.
One of the really cool things I would say was at the Demon Slayer panel, they gave away.
I'm glad you brought this. Yes.
Look how gorgeous. They gave this to every person in the audience. So this one they did such a great job. So it's UFO table, in case you wanted to
Yes.
know. So UFO table, because I was like,
Yes.
I'm curious how you say this.
That's how we say this. All
We're like,
right.
oh, cool. It was an excellent panel, and then they were saying they showed the style and like
They showed a speed paint
thank you.
of it.
They showed the style of art and the speed paint of it, and then they're like, and everyone gets it. So they had, and this it matters because they had these voice actors
Yes.
present. So yay!
The boy and the
so
boy
thank you.
ever both present and talking and just having a grand old time.
Living, yes,
Yes.
they were wonderful. I'd say that was one of the big highlights for sure. I'm grabbing my notes. My also favorite was the where to go? Oh, Wit and
Yes.
it's a
Production IG. You're right.
Production IG. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that was the most wonderfully unhinged, and we mean this as an absolute compliment because this reminds me of older Anime Expo days where they gave out so many prizes. Because for those of you who are new to AX, they used to give out prizes so often and to so many people, but they just got too big that they just didn't keep up with it. But this one,
it really had small con panel vibes in
Yes.
the best way. Like, everyone in this room is friends. We're in a conversation.
Yeah.
We're going to have a good time. Yeah, and hearing the talk from, oh God, is he the head of studio, the producer? I'm so bad
Yes.
at this. Talking about how he worked with Production
Ueda.
IG for forever
Okay.
and then decided to start his own studio and did Studio Wit.
You know.
And their first thing was Attack on Titan. Like, way to hit the ground running.
Yes.
So my dude had a 60-year career in anime or something crazy. Like, many decades
I was
before
gonna
we
say, I
had
don't
the
think he
term
looked that old, but maybe. I don't
before
know.
he had the term before we had the term anime.
Yeah.
He was in anime. So
Oh, so sorry, I was gonna say too with giving things away, they had somebody yell, "We love you," and they're like, "Who said that? Come up, you get a prize." It's the Oprah meme. You get a prize. You
Do
get
you
a
like
prize.
Fooly Cooly?
Yeah. Who's dressed up in this
Incredible.
cosplay? Come up and get a prize. And it was,
Yeah.
it's that idea of, is a game fun to play and is a game fun to watch? This was one of those, even if you weren't participating in the giveaway itself, it was so fun and entertaining
Oh my
watching
God,
people
yes.
get their prizes.
It was
Love that.
hysterical. It's like, oh, bring up the Haikyuu cosplayers. And there were like half a
Yep.
dozen of them. And one of
They looked
the
fabulous.
panelists had purchased Haikyuu stands to give away to cosplayers. So it was like, I went there initially because I wanted to know if there was going to be Spy Family news. And we got a trailer for the movie. And we got a release date, December 22nd of this year. So, yes, there was Spy Family news, but the whole everything was so good, was so much fun to be there. Like, that, of all the panels I went to, and I went to a number of them, that was my favorite. Just the vibe was immaculate.
Also, the Spy Family panel where it was with the.
Oh my God.
So this panel.
God bless Lauren. Lauren is the host for this panel. I'm blanking on her. Lauren Moore of Crunchyroll is the host for the Spy Family panel. And it's her and our translator, who is a lovely human being, and the Seiyu for Lloyd, who had never been to Los Angeles before, never done an AX before, and talked a lot about how he liked to party and liked to go out and drink. And just some of these questions got really, really wild. And it's one of those, Carrie and I are both hosts. We're both interviewers. We've never done a panel well, you might have done a panel that big before. I have not.
Not that big.
And it's very hard when things go off the rails to try to keep them on the rails, or at least going in the right direction. Like, when things start getting out of hand, it's very difficult to rein it in. And sometimes there's only so much you can do. And this panel was very much an only so much you can do. God bless Lauren. She is a consummate professional and she did an amazing job. I also laughed until I cried. So it's a good time.
Some highlights. So the Japanese voice actor for Lloyd said, so rapid fire questions. So this is a person who speaks Japanese as their first language. And they said, so in English, what is one word you'd use to describe the characters? This was hilarious. So really quickly, you're cool. Lloyd, cool. Anya, very cool. Bond, miracle. And I was like, all right, yes. And then the other fun thing was, if he got a chance to choose an ability, what kind of powers out of the different characters we got? He said, it's a very difficult question. If I had to choose, I think being a telepath is very strong. So I thought that was actually very interesting. Yeah, they just had really, I mean, guests couldn't always be amazing, but it was really insightful and it was really fun to get that behind the scenes deep dive into their process and everything.
Yeah. And we had a balance of, how do you approach this? What does this mean to you, etc., and just fun, silly questions.
Yes.
And it was the fun, silly stuff that really got a little wild. But there was a lot of insight in the ones where, he did stop and think and have a good time.
Yeah. Well, the other thing I did want to address, because I have seen this floating around on line of people saying, like, well, really, was AX that crowded? So I'm like, wait, I have video, because we were there. It was, so there was one thing kind of going around, just because I saw like somebody else asking, they're like, was it really that crazy? I'm like, well, let me show you.
Depended on the day and the area.
All right,
like,
so
the everyone packed to the gills bit is,
So this was my experience. I got stuck in this. So I was like trying to come from the entertainment hall, and I don't know what was going on.
I did hear what was going on here.
Oh, okay. What did you hear? Well, I mean, I heard something on Twitter, but what did you hear?
Yeah, that this was when the main hall let out, and there was supposed to be a specific traffic flow, but one of the ways they say to go out of the main hall is there is an area where you can go outside, and go across to the other part of the convention center, because the LA Convention Center is divided into two parts with a very long hallway between them. And the long hallway between them is where most of the panel rooms are. Evidently, at this point, a panel let out of the main hall, and someone in security or line regulation or something, there was evidently a miscommunication where something that should have been an exit was an entrance only, and it caused a traffic backup.
All right. Yeah, that's what I was seeing on Twitter as well. So I had this video right here, which somebody has a very similar video going around. So this is mine. This is my footage because I was there. This is me filming it. Someone had very similar footage. This is not opening ceremony, because that is yes, everybody's packed to the gills waiting for the door open. This is the traffic jam that this shouldn't have happened this way.
Yes.
Because this is in case anybody had any kind of emergency. There's no way you safely could have moved out of that space. Like, it was a struggle for me, and I'm not that very big of a person to like wiggle my way through. And so that's how tight it was, of like, all right, I'm just kind of I was on the phone. I'm like, I gotta get off the phone. I can't walk in this. So anyway, I just wanted to share that because I saw it going around online, and there's it go.
It really did depend on the location and the day. Like, Artist Alley for most of the days was shoulder to shoulder every aisle.
Yeah.
Like, Artist Alley was continually packed, and
it was better.
It always,
Sunday. Or I mean, not Sunday, Tuesday. The last day.
The last day. It was still pretty bit. Like, I spent a chunk of time down there that day. It was not as busy as day one, where you could not get anywhere, but it was still very busy. But like, the expo hall loosened up. The big lobby foyer area where right before opening is, where everyone's waiting, that tends to have a pretty good flow when people aren't standing there waiting for the doors to open. So yes, Anime Expo does have that many people, and yeah, traffic jams happen. I would say
they're not great at line control. And crowd control a lot of the time. Just saying.
But I would say what we're seeing there is not the norm. It's not like that 100% of the time.
And that was the one time, and it was around noon as well.
Yeah.
That was the other thing too, because somebody's like opening ceremony. I'm like, no, this is like noon o'clock. But that was the only major crowd that I experienced. That was the only one that I bumped into.
And the only pictures that circulate are the ones where it is really packed in, because people go, oh my God, look at this. And like, it's like the only time pictures of the 101 circulate is when it's at a standstill. It's not at a standstill all the time. It's at a standstill during rush hour, and that's about it. Unless there's other circumstances. People going, the 101, it's the local freeway. One of the local freeways. It's the one I drive all the time.
Yeah.
But that's it, though. Like, if you are claustrophobic, if you're agoraphobic, if you're really bad with crowds, Anime Expo may not be the con for you. Like,
or
if you can't handle
slow days, which are
even the slow days have a lot of people.
That's true.
Like, you got to pick and choose. There's always going to be a smaller anime convention that you can choose to go to. Like, for people who are local to me, like, oh, should I do AX? Should I do San Diego Comic-Con? Have you ever done a convention before? No. You should do Anime Pasadena and Los Angeles Comic-Con. Because it's a similar idea for both.
WonderCon too. That's another good, like, smaller one.
Yeah. It's just the ones that are easier to handle and easier to dip your toes in if you've never done it before. Like, yes, I enjoy AX every time. I enjoy Comic-Con every time.
Love them.
I am an extrovert who can spend a metric ton of time in the expo hall just chilling. Like, I enjoy those areas.
Yeah.
And I know people who will avoid the expo floor like the plague because there's way too many people. It's like, that's valid. It will impair your enjoyment of a convention if you don't do well with crowds and you go to a con that is extremely crowded. So do your research beforehand, know what you're getting into, pick the experience that's right for you.
And so far, it seems like nobody I know besides, I mean, unfortunately, Destiny mentioned she got sick, but like, I was fine. I was exhausted. Like, the Wednesday, Thursday.
Dead to the world.
Yeah, but I felt fine. And then I don't think I knew anybody else. So that's good, because last year, someone I know that did get COVID at AX. Yeah. So I'm glad that this year there was a mix of masks. And it definitely was one. At first, I'll be honest, I was like, I don't know. We'll see how it goes. And then I saw the crowd. I'm like, no, because even just
Yeah.
con crud and people just
Mhm.
like icky of like they
You and
flew
I
there. I'm like, yeah,
masked up whenever we
yeah,
were out on the floor, whenever we were around larger crowds, like press lounge, there's like 10 people in here.
yeah.
Okay. But like, yeah, when there's a press of people, like I still wear a mask going into the grocery store and whatnot because I live in a big city and I don't know where everyone's been. So,
And yeah,
you
just
know,
because it's just looking ahead at anybody going to conventions, it's nice to have on hand too of just if anybody has a cold and it just helps
yeah.
save you from those germs. Because a lot of people, con crud is a term for a reason. So,
Mhm. And there
um,
is a nasty cold going around right now that tends to stick around and turn into sinus, ear, etc. infections. So, like,
yeah,
you know, take care of yourself. Ounce of
yeah.
prevention, all that fun stuff.
But besides all of that, I
Yeah.
had a fabulous time. Katie, what
Yeah.
about you?
I'm very tired. I had a lot of fun. It's just,
My
I'm
favorite is
still tired from AX.
yeah. My favorite is seeing like your friends and randomly
Yeah.
bumping into people. I think the panels I was able to attend were amazing.
Yeah.
We have interviews. Oh, those are here on the Fanversation channel. Go check them out. Katie did some awesome interviews, and I have interviews, but I'll tag them later because they're a different outlet. But yeah,
Also,
so
if you want to
mm,
see booth coverage, smaller videos, cosplay photos, etc. Those are going up presumably tonight on the Fanversation Instagram. So check out
yes,
those stories. We'll also make it a highlight. You know, all the fun stuff from being on the floor. I think my
and
favorite video is still someone extremely well playing Taiko Drum Master, playing
yeah.
Megalovania on it. Like that sent me.
Also
So good.
follow us here at the NTATNB. That is our Twitter.
Yes.
And so that one we'll probably post more on there as well.
Yeah,
I feel that's kind of the main highlights of Anime Expo. Yeah, amazing
I would
panels.
agree.
Didn't do a ton of shopping, but I found some neat things.
I
And
did.
I
I
know
found
you did.
I'm so mad that I don't have it, and it's gonna be in the pictures. Like it's all of my con swag is still back there waiting to be unpacked.
Ah,
That's why I have a screen. I bought a boba sleeve, which
yes.
was a
That
little
was a great find.
yeah, a little angled thing of canvas, and I got one with a D20 on it and one with a Korok on it because there was so much Korok stuff there, and it made me so happy. And just had a big old canvas loop. It was basically just pop your cup in there and go. And the Hulu booth was giving out free boba at
Yes,
certain
that was a
times
great
each day.
highlight.
So
Yep.
I would just pop it in my boba sleeve and loop it over my arm so I had both hands free for whatever I needed and it was still down there. And that came from the artist alley.
Hmm.
Like I have photos, it's going to be tagged with the artist's
Oh,
name when it goes up on the Instagram, but like that yes, that
this is an
necklace is
artist
beyond
alley.
cute.
I have a little soot sprite here, and this is an artist that I was like, oh, I'm afraid I don't know their name, but they're always there. Anime Expo. I have some other. She does really cute Studio Ghibli like little
Yeah.
inspired pieces.
So
Mhm.
it's I said it before the con, I'm saying it again. The best shopping at cons is in the artist alley.
Mhm.
Full stop.
Mhm.
That's where the fun stuff is.
Yep.
There's plenty of fun stuff in the dealer's hall, mind you. I definitely did some grab bags at a very fancy place and got some very fancy stuff. But
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
pound for pound, the artist alley is such a blast.
Yes.
So much
Uh,
cute, creative, ridiculous stuff.
well, I guess I don't know if it's ridiculous, but is it time for
I say
Overwatch
ridiculous
weekend?
like a good
I
thing.
know,
And
I know.
yes,
Well, that's
yes.
what I mean. Of like, it was wild, it was ridiculous. So we got Overwatch, and then we got just a little bit more for you, and then we'll get on with tell me about Overwatch.
Overwatch League is always ridiculous. This is your reminder that league matches begin again this weekend. For those of you who have not been tuning in, we also have Contenders NA, Contenders EMEA, and Contenders APAC that have all been playing. They are doing their play ins for the second half of the season so they can once again hop up and play against the league teams. We are doing that again, and we are heckin' excited for that. Let's be real. That is a fun time. We also had a Calling All Heroes tournament this weekend. And for those unfamiliar, Calling All Heroes is the Overwatch League initiative to bring up players that are of underrepresented genders and orientations. So For me, it's always buck wild to be watching Calling All Heroes to get to the winner's interview and hear the player they're interviewing with a feminine voice. Like,
Hmm.
it's
Mhm.
been, I don't think we've had a female player in the league since Geggery in seasons 1 and 2. It's been a hot minute. So it's always really nice to hear that and to see the pronouns in the lower thirds. And just Calling All Heroes is a breath of fresh air. They do some absolutely crazy ass plays. They are a ton of fun. So that was this weekend. The VOD is available. Contenders are, of course, playing. And looking forward to the matches this weekend, we have some bangers. Our NA matches are starting back up, and we are starting at noon on, I believe this is Friday, Thursday, noon on Thursday, the 13th. We don't have a Friday the 13th this month, but it would explain the energy. With the Florida Mayhem versus the Houston Outlaws, two teams that are ranked incredibly high, two teams that went pretty dang far in the Summer Showdown, and two teams that both have something to prove coming back into this season. So that's going to be fun. If you are a fan of any of or all of the California teams, we have the California Cup with the Gladiators versus the San Francisco Shock on Thursday. We also have, for the first time in several years, the Battle for Los Angeles with the Gladiators versus the Valiant on Friday the 14th. We haven't had one of those in a hot second since the Valiant went to APAC. Now they're back. Battle of LA is back in session. It does mean that we sacrificed the battle for Texas because Dallas is now in APAC, so that's no longer on the table. But either which way, it's a rivalry weekend for the Gladiators. They are going up against both California teams. On the flip side, we have the New York Excelsior versus the Vegas Eternal, and we're going to see if Vegas can pull out a win because they haven't. They've won a map or two. They have not managed a win at all this season. And it's looking pretty season 1 Shanghai Dragons for them, and that is a problem. We're hoping they'll be able to pull something out, but who knows, you guys? Who knows? We're hoping that they will have taken advantage of this extended break and this new meta shift to pull some things together, figure out some new strategies. There is talent on that team. They're just having a real problem being cohesive about it. And then their other match this weekend is against the Boston Uprising, and it's Boston, you guys. If you want a Boston match that's going to be a banger, that's going to be Boston versus Houston on Saturday, because Boston also managed a fairly good showing in the tournament. And Boston, as we've said before, is the team that has all of the crazy legacy players on it. They have Decay, they have Birdring, they have all of these players that have just a pedigree. All of them have an incredible play history, an incredible win history. All of these players are capable of what we refer to as the Fleta deadlift, in which one single player gets over half of their team's collective kills for a map. Every single player on this team is capable of a deadlift. It's just a matter of where's the cohesion? Is the meta working for you? And Boston did fairly well. They didn't go as far in the Summer Showdown as some would have thought. So again, with this couple week break that we've had since the showdown, it will be interesting to see what they pull out of their bag of tricks. Because with the talent and caliber of players they have, it is a very, very big bag. Boston is good this year, you guys. Houston is good this year. And Atlanta, who also has a pair of matches this weekend, one against the Justice and one against the Spitfire, won a tournament. They've got a title. They are on the up and up, and they are still undefeated. They've dropped a handful of maps. They have not dropped a match in regular play or in tournament play this season. So the question remains, who is going to topple the Atlanta Reign, if anyone can? So yeah, it's going to be a banger of a weekend. I'm excited.
Nice. Well, it's nice.
Yes.
Even though it's not like the regular season, that's good. That's still entertaining.
Oh, it is the regular season.
Oh, I was
This
like,
is the
wait,
regular season. Yeah, this
oh,
is the
okay.
regular season starting up again. This is
That's what it's
the
called.
stage that's known as the summer qualifiers.
There we go.
Yeah, we
Okay.
had the mid-season madness. This is the latter half of the season leading into the grand finals in the fall. So the summer qualifiers are going to go through till about mid-September. I'm not sure when the grand finals will be, probably late September, early October, because they give people a little bit of time to figure things out, and we have qualifying tournaments. So yeah, we will hear more about the grand finals when they are closer. They could be anywhere. They were in Anaheim last year. They have been in New York and Philly. I think they had a year where they did Philly before that. And then this year, very first year, we had a tournament in Seoul, Korea. So we might go back to Seoul. We might go to Hangzhou or Guangzhou or Shanghai. We might bring it to, who knows? We might go to Atlanta. We might go to Houston. We don't know. But it'll be interesting either way. It's always very fun to go to a LAN event. It's always a blast to be there with your fellow fans, screaming your heads off over the game. It's a good time.
Yay! Well, we hope you all had a good time here. Yes, we've had a nice, long, meaty show talking about Anime Expo. Huge thank you to our guests who joined us. God's Will and Destiny. It was really cool to hear other perspectives of how people experience Anime Expo and what other projects people have going on. So be sure to go follow them. Make sure to follow us over on Twitter at the NTATMB, and we'll be there as long as Twitter is still around.
Yep.
But
Still
otherwise,
kicking.
we are still on here on Fanversation. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe, and share the video. Let people know about our show. If you enjoy watching, let other people know we exist. We will be at Comic-Con, so be sure to stick around for that. So as such, next week will be a Comic-Con pre-show. So we'll let you know the things we're looking forward to. Might try to do special guests again as well. We'll see. We're still looking into what anime we'll be covering, and
we
no
have
chosen
not
show just yet. Not yet. And with
We
the
ha-
conventions breaking up our kind of regular rhythm, it's like,
Yeah. We
Um,
have not decided whether we are going to do a show directly after Comic-Con, because that is the Monday after the con. That's either the day after we get home or the day we get home, depending on when we go. So yeah, we will let you know. Keep an eye on the Twitter, keep an eye on the Instagram. We might just need that day to recover.
Yeah.
But then at some point, either day after con or week after con, we will be doing a San Diego Comic-Con wrap-up episode in much the same way we did an AX wrap-up episode. This one.
Which we appreciate all of you being here. Everybody who joined us in the live chat and who comment down below your thoughts on the video. Be sure here on the Fanversation channel, go watch the interviews, our Anime Expo interviews. Katie posted those, so yay!
We had fun. If you are curious at all about Skull Island, the anime, we had a few conversations with people involved in that, and it turned into questions of what is your favorite cryptid, which got real fun.
Nice.
Yeah. A good time.
And Katie, where can people find you online?
You can follow me all over the social medias, as well as on YouTube and Twitch at Kiaxet. That is Kiaxet. If you like reaction videos, they live on that channel. I most recently had one for the Five Nights at Freddy's longer trailer, and we will be doing one for the Red vs. Blue final season trailer that just dropped. Oh my god, Red vs. Blue is getting another season. What year is it? I'm very excited, and also, oh my god, I am also a co-host on a YouTube channel called Silver Screams, in which we talk about horror things, and it is very fun. There's reactions there. If you want to see me jump out of my skin, I recommend the Halloween trailer reactions, like all of them. Those are very effective trailers. Yes, that is where I am. Join me. We have fun here.
Yes. Y'all can find me online at Carrie D Lane. That's KARIDLANE across all social media platforms. I'll be posting more videos. I did some from AX, and we'll be posting more as well on the Fanversation and our own pages. NTATNB.
NTATNB. Yes.
Yes. Then so stay tuned for all of that. We'll be posting a lot more, and for those who already saw our stories online, for those, thank you for watching, and everybody, thank you for tuning in. So stay tuned for next week for a special pre-Comic-Con show, and we'll see you all later. Bye.